In today's video, we're going to be learning how to draft a milkmaid top or a milkmaid gown. So let's get right into the video. Stay tuned. So to do this, I'm just starting with my starting line. I'm just going to be ruling my starting line so that I can start my measurement from that point. So quickly after that, I'll measure my shoulder to my bust. Then I'll measure my shoulder to my under bust as well. I'll still mark it. This is my shoulder to bust, 10 inches. My shoulder to my under bust, 14 inches. Then my half length. Okay. Then after that, I'll just rule across. This like this. So right now, I'm going ahead to mark my neck depth and neck width. So my shoulder, the shoulder I'm using is 8 inches. I'll be marking my neck width of 3 inches. Then my neck depth, I still use 3 inches. Okay, so I'm just coming down for my shoulder slant, but let me curve this first. So this is just my neck. So right about now, I'll just mark my shoulder slant of 1 inch, and then I just slanted my rule like this. Then I'll go ahead and mark my armhole measurement, and then I'll also mark my chest line at that point, and quickly cover up my armhole. Okay, so this is just the basic body measurement. All right, so at this point I'm just getting the midpoint so that I can come in by about ½ inch for my armhole. All right, so I'm just going to do this quickly so we can get into the main business of today. So there's it. So let me quickly mark it down. The first line is my chest line, the second line is my bust line, the third line is my under bust, the fourth line is my waist measurement. Okay, so right now from my bust line, I'm marking my nipple to nipple measurement, and my nipple to nipple measurement is 4 inches. So I'm just marking at 4 inches from that bust line down to my waist line. Okay, so after that, I'll just rule across. Just follow me step by step. There is nothing hard about this. Okay, so after this, I'll just quickly mark 1/2 inch this way. See the way the ½ inch is facing the inside part around that neck side. Okay, then the 1 inch is facing the other side. Okay, so 1 inch here, ½ inch here. I just shared 1.5 between them, and then I'll connect upward. All right, so at this point, at this my under bust, I'm just coming up by 1 inch. Just see the way I placed my tape. I just marked 1 inch here on this side that has neck measurement. Okay, so I just marked 1 inch at that under bust line, and then I made sure that the same thing I have for this my nipple to nipple measurement, I'm going to measure it after that line. Okay, just this way, 4 inches here. I'm going to measure another 4 inches on this side. All right, I hope this is clear. Okay, so don't forget that I have 1 inch here. I will just connect with my curve. You can use a free hand. I'll just connect it from there upward to meet that 1 inch that I marked. Okay, and then I'll still connect this part to that 4 inches of the nipple to nipple measurement. That's my measurement. All right, so I just connected it, and this was how it came out. So for the upper part, I'll just use my armhole curve and then connect this loop just this way. This is so simple, as simple as this. So I'll just go ahead and blend in my armhole. and then I'll start putting my body measurement. I'll measure what I have, my circumference, my bust circumference divided by 4, and then I'll place it on top. I'll measure it out here just like this. Don't forget to add your sewing allowance. So mine is 10 inches and I added sewing allowance of 12 inches. At the lower part, I'll add my sewing allowance plus the allowance that I removed from here. I will add it back to take my measurement. Okay, so add yours back whenever you are taking your measurement so that the material will not shorten. Okay, so this, I'm going to be connecting my bust to my half length, and I'm just quickly cutting it out, and this is how it looks. So with this lower part is what we're going to be working with. I'm going to be placing this front part on top so that I can mark out my armhole, and then I'll leave about 1.5 inches for my zipper allowance. All right, so I'm just marking 1.5 there, and then I'll roll it. Don't forget that this is for my zipper allowance. All right, so I will ensure that I mark out my correct armhole on this fabric, and don't forget that my own front started after that zip allowance, so make sure that your front is starting after the zip allowance. Don't place the fabric before that. So at that point, I'm just going to mark straight because I'm using the same measurement, and then I'll connect this armhole side. This side, I'll connect it this way, and I'll use my armhole curve and then make a slant. You can use a rule, it depends on what you want the back to look like. All right, so this is it. Let me just use the armhole right now. Okay, I'll connect it this way, so you can connect yours whatever style you want to use for that part, but this is for my back. So I will just ensure that I put my dart. I didn't mark it earlier, so I'm just marking it now. Let me adjust it so I can see. So I'm just putting my dart measurement. I'm using half inch on both sides. Then I'll just connect it to the top. It's going to be, I'm getting the midpoint. I want to get the midpoint so I can connect it to the top. Okay, so that is going to be reaching the top. So this is it. I'll just quickly cut it out. This is how it looks. This is the front. Now for the front, I'm going to be cutting out this cup. Okay, this cup, I'm just going to be cutting it out this way. Now look at how it looks when you cut it out. Okay, so at this point I'll be cutting this side out, one of this, and I'm going to be using one of this. Okay, I will cut it out, and then I'll use the back, any of the sides, but I'll be using the back of it, the side that has the plain side, so that I can rule on it. Okay, so for each of them I'm going to be marking 1 inch. You can use 1.5, it depends on what you want. So I just use 1 inch to mark it, and I have 8 pieces, and I just marked one side and I ruled it. After ruling it out, I'll just cut it out this way and then place it. I want to easily identify it, that's why I numbered it. So I'll be placing them on a plain fabric. Okay, if you are placing, you have to place it on a plain fabric, and I'll be giving space of about 1.5 inch after placing each of them. I'm just placing each of them one by one, so I'll make sure I have 1.5 inch. I'll place the second one because I numbered it, so you can easily number your own so you don't get it all mixed up. So I'm placing the third one after it, then I'll continue till I get to the end. Okay, it's very simple. So while I'm at this, if you're here to subscribe to my YouTube channel, kindly subscribe and turn on your notification bell so every time I upload a video you'll be notified. Okay, so I'm just going to be connecting it just with a rough sketch this way round, because this is what we're going to be using. Now after trimming this all out, okay, I'm going to be using all these patterns to place on top of my fabric and then trace it out. Because I have already drafted it out, it's going to be much more easier for me to place them on my fabric and cut it out. So in my next video I'm going to be showing you how to sew this milkmaid with the patterns and drafts we have already created. I'm going to be placing all these patterns on top of my fabric and then trace them out because it's that simple. Please don't forget to leave about half inch while cutting it out. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more.